People. Que pasa, sakpa, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. It seems as if there's no sorts of statute of limitation on when these Jamaicans can stop criming, and when these jealous, obsessive men can stop taking away their wife. I am speaking about a couple of incidents that occurred back to back an hour or 2 hours apart, in which two ladies, Tika Nesbitt, 73-year-old, and 80-year-old Patsy Allen, lost their life at the hands of the husband of Tika Nesbitt. His name is Mr. Roy Nesbitt. He is 84, the wife is 73. The retired returning resident Patsy Allen, she is 80-year-old. The facts are this. On or about August 12, 2023, it is said that Mrs. Patsy Allen, 80-year-old, was at her house. And then Mr. Roy Nesbitt went by that house. Him pretty much juke her up in the neck, take her out. Family members came to her house in a place called Kendall District, that is in Hanover. Them find the body, report to the Popo. About 2 hours later, they went to the house of Mrs. Tika Nesbitt, that is in Grange District, that is Hanover once again. They found her body. She was 73 at the time of her demise. It had some sorts of kitchen utensil in the forehead. That means him juke her up in the head. So people in the neighborhood wonder, them a ponder, if them have some sorts of geriatrics, elderly, SERIALKILLER in the era. Them gone with the husband, Mr. Roy Nesbitt, also 84-year-old. People have said, this no look good. This is too close for comfort. However, what persons were not realizing is that the husband, Mr. Roy Nesbitt, was the suspect. He was missing for a couple of days. He turned himself over to the Popo a couple of days later. He was arrested and he was charged. Arrested or turned himself in on Friday. He did some sorts of question and answer in the presence of his lawyer. Obviously, his answers were not consistent with telling the truth, was not consistent with him being an innocent man. So therefore, he was officially charged. As a matter of fact, when he came in, he confessed to taking out both ladies, Mrs. Titsy, his wife, and also Patsy Allen, returning retiree that came back to Jamaica after spending X amount of decades overseas. Him confessed that he took away both of them. He gave the intricate details as if the crime scene did not already paint that picture of a very graphic, brutal, KILLING spree. When he was asked, then Miss Amanda, what was the motive? Why would you do such a thing? He claimed that his wife, Tika, was seen a relative of Miss Patsy Allen. So therefore, Miss Patsy Allen was the one that facilitated, supported, and did not say anything. She tried to mash up in marriage. Now people, remember the ages once again. 73-year-old, that is Miss Tika Nesbitt. 80-year-old, that is Patsy Allen. And then 84-year-old. People, if you add up all of those, you get 200 and one heap. So when we take into consideration the fact that all of these people's age put together would come up to about 240 years, if not little less, if not little more, you would have thought that the statute of limitation for cheating, and even worse, the statute of limitation for taking away a person's life, would have long elapsed. It passed the statute of limitation. People should have in them golden age, just a simmer down, waiting to go through the pearly gates. People, it seems as if that is not the case. If what this man has in his mind is true, that means that the lady introduced her relative to him wife, then it is wrong. Maybe if there was some sort of problem, she was being abused by Mr. Roy, then you can kind of understand. Don't know if they were not secretive enough, or even what he was saying is true, or he just had that jealous, obsessive thing in his own demented mind. Whatever the case was, he should not, it is never justifiable for anybody to take away anybody's life, whether them a give enough bun for full up HTB or National or one of those other places. No sorts of justification. So people, can you imagine, as it pertains to Patsy Allen, she leave from wherever she was, come to Jamaica, hire somebody. She and that person, or that person is working for her, whether she introduced her family member intentionally or not. It was the wife, if she choose or decide, that made that decision that me have my husband. However, me go cheat with Mrs. Allen's relative, not saying that it is so. Then this man now go hear. How did he hear? How would he know? People, if you cannot be good, be very careful, especially in your golden age. You have come too close to the finish line for actually make somebody finish you prematurely. So when we look at all of this, whatever the case is, this man must have had some sorts of anger management problem. It tells me that more than likely, this man must have been abusing this lady. So therefore, she wanted to get the hell away from him, and rightfully so. People, it seems as if people take these vows literally. Until DEATH do we part. We've seen this too often. It is a very disturbing trend. At the end of the day, these people, 73, 80 and 84, lives lost, lives that are never going to be the same, because more than likely this man is going to get a whole bunch of time that more than likely is going to take him away for his natural life, and rightfully so. Remember, this man was on the run. However, he surrendered to the popo. But when you think about the age, where can he run to? Maybe he might have gotten some sort of shorter breath, or maybe arthritis kicking. However, when he now goes to the penitentiary or the jail in which he deserves to go, I hope that Kid Ralph, that is the mythical character in a jail that pretty much take these young men for his tenderoni. However, this wicked man, wicked husband at age 84, he is going to experience hell on earth in one of our fine penal institutions. And while not having conversation with the family, the Allen and also the Nesbets, the wife side of the family, loved ones and friends, I am sure that they hope that while this man, Mr. Roy Nesbet, is in the penal institution, he can get penetrated penally by Mr. Kid Ralph, so he can feel the pain that their loved one was caused when they were killed by this man, point blank and period. Further on in the news, this is an update about an incident that took place in Old Harbour, West Street to be specific, in which West Street turned the wild, wild west. Here are the updates. Here are all the persons, or most of the persons, key suspect, key victims that were involved. Based on the information, it is said that at about 3 p.m. in the evening, there was a white vehicle, a taxi. That white vehicle had a couple of passengers in the vehicle. One of those passengers, his name is, them know him as Shortman, Dwayne Minto, OC 2014. He was one of the passengers in the back seat of that taxi that was con up. The man that you seen in the videos circulating all over social media, he is Shemar Clark, 21-year-old. He is also from Montego Bay, just like Mr. Twelly, 14, OC Dwayne Minto, well actually his government name. Based on the information, it is said that an off-duty popo was right on the scene of the crime. He witnessed everything. He then challenged the shooter that jumped off a bike and blazed up the taxi. He hit that C0P-During a couple of times in the head, in the upper body. He was out, spread out Alibaba carpet to the land of no coming back. The next person upon the bike speed off, gone about him business. Here is the history as it pertains to Mr. Dwayne Minto, OC 2014, and the next person. So pretty much at least two persons got conned up in the vehicle. The taxi driver, which had nothing to do with anything, him just pick up the wrong people at the wrong time. Mr. Dwayne Minto, 2014, he was the intended target. Here is the history as it pertains to Mr. Dwayne Minto. It is said that he was out on bail for the C0P-During of at least 3 persons, triple takeaway. He also injured a 10-year-old. People again, a next case in which a top KILLER is out on bail because these judges that seems to have them head up them ASS keeps letting out the same individual, same suspect, go out and them do the same thing. It is obvious. History tells us that that is what they always do. It is in their natural instinct. When he got that case, he relocated to St. Catherine. While he was in St. Catherine, he was caught up with at least 2 or 3 other people in some sorts of lottery scamming case, in which them find all sorts of paraphernalia, all sorts of lead sheets. Him going and him come back out. He then relocated to New Harbor, which is in Old Harbor, I guess. Do not quote me. With his girlfriend and his mother and people. Again, the people find them. Remember, a lot of times when you see these people losing their life, it is usually friendly fire or friend turn enemy. So therefore, he was the intended target. The man on the bike, the C0P-During, he was also from Montego Bay. It is said that Mr. Dwayne Minto is a known gang member, a known crime producer, a known scammer, a known KILLER. He has all of the bad stuff affiliated with his name. So therefore, the people on the bike come for him. I am speaking about Mr. Shemar Clark and his associate that was on the bike. When he got conned up throughout the C0P out between themselves and the popo, he escaped on the bike. Luckily for him. However, just leave it up to time. Karma always catches up to them sooner or later. Based on the popo report, it is said that a Glock 19 was seized or found on the scene after the C0P-During with 2 magazines, 1 inserted and 1 extender clip. The good thing, somebody's wing got clipped. They found or took off a toll off of the road. Don't know what is going to happen as it pertains to 2014, if he is going to get locked up for violating the terms of his bail, or more than likely the judge is going to give him bail again and say, maybe I just Montego Bay, maybe my bad luck in a St. Catherine, maybe my bad luck in a Old Harbor. Send him go to Kingston, Eastern or Central. Maybe he will do better there. Maybe he can be rehabilitated. People, me not really know. Point blank and period. Further on in the news. Now people, if I told you that there was an individual that is responsible for at least 5 takeaway of life in Montego Bay in 2 days, would you believe me? I am sure that you would. I am speaking about 2 different incidents that occurred, one on the 2nd of June 2023 and the next one before that on the 31st of May 2023. That is 2 days apart. In a place called Gaza Lane, that is in St. James, Montego Bay. This individual, his name is Mr. K. Reid, call him OC aka Reid. He was held and he appeared in the courts. Montego Bay Parish Court not once but twice. I am going to explain. On the 31st of May 2023, he took away 2 people in our house, in our big yard. The names of those 2 persons, Liston Anderson and Tavar Doman. That's on the 31st. He went to court on that case. However, he also had a next case. So he had a double on the 31st of May 2023. However, on the case that occurred on June 2nd, 2023, this was a triple. So therefore, he was steadily increasing, getting more notorious, more dangerous. He took away 38-year-old Conroy Lawrence, a next man Chevon Garden, a next man Kesley Lawrence. All of those were cousins. This occurred in the same big yard. So people, 2 DEAD on the 31st and then 2 D3 DEAD on the 2nd of June, 2 days later. All 3 of those cousins. This man went to court back to back, a double and then a triple. Like I said, the cases or the incidents occurred back to back 2 days later. In the latest incident that was said to have occurred on June 2nd. In the night, some men pull up. The people, there are some sorts of shop, some sorts of bar, business establishment that was operated by Mr. Garden. They were AMBUSHED, blaze up several times. The men then escaped in the bushes. They were gone. Now people, if one man can take away 5 people back to back in 2 days, wouldn't you like to know what his criminal history would look like? Can you imagine his body counts? How many persons he has taken away so far? Luckily, the Popo got a hold of him. We should now hope for the best and expect the worst as it pertains to these judges and these defense attorney, because they have a very bad habit of letting out the most notorious criminals to go back out and do the same thing. Maybe he wants this man to achieve his serial KILLER status. So therefore, him take away 5, make him take away at least 50 more. Maybe that is the rationale of these judges. People, me no know. Only time will tell. Point blank and period. Further on in the news, and last but not least, is an update about a youth that I spoke about. Reid MVRD3RED, OC aka the owner of a business called Thug Fashion. Now when I spoke about this man losing his life, whether it was controversial, whether it was the Popo, whether it was some sorts of ops, it is confirmed that he was taken out by Special Operation Popo, the top of the top. He was, or they were given orders from the top of the JCF. Whoever you want to think it is confirmed. Now when I did this video, persons were saying, I extort the Popo them, I try extort him. Because he's a youth, him come from the ghetto and him used to sell clothes on the street And him elevate him thing, and now him have 1 or 3 store. Me no really know the numbers. But I said, based on word that I got, which is credible, he is somebody that is dibbling and dabbling in legal and illegal, illicit activity. Those activities that was told to me and confirmed, he is a known scammer, a known drug dealer, a gun trafficker. He uses the clothing business as some sort of front to hide his criminal activity. People, this is information that I am giving you from people that actually in the know. This is not any sort of guess and spell. This is not bad mind like you people think. Now I notice in my comment section, specifically one individual that made at least 5 or 6 posts as if she is or he is the PR for Mr. Orion Wright. Me a put out false information, a bad man, the youth is a hard working youth, the youth no deserve to lose in life. People, I told you before, his name was also called up on the life that was lost of a man in a Caribbean Gardens that is in Portmore. A Popo, that Popo's name is Mr. McLean. It is said that Mr. McLean has a friend. That person's name is John Kingston. John Kingston is his rival. John Kingston is a close associate of the Popo that lost his life. So therefore, that is where the link is, whether it is direct or indirect. However, the Popo were given direct order to take him out. So those of you that are wondering if it was the app or if it was the Popo and why, these are the reasons based on what they said. I am going to read it once again, so therefore listen. It is said that he is a known scammer, drug dealer, gun trafficker. He has a clothing business as a front to hide his criminal activity. As a matter of fact, I told you before in a previous video, that type of lifestyle cannot be sustained to a little impy, skimpy, rickety-tickety clothing store to buy any sorts of Porsche where red bottom, the math just did not add up. This is before I am getting validated or verified information as to why he lost his life. Now people like me say, you can believe or you can disbelieve, you can still maintain your wrong and strong stance. It does not matter, it does not take away from the facts. And the facts are those. Point blank and period. So anyways people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like this, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.